This is a recording of my conversation with Atakan Cetinsoy, VP Predictive Applications at BigML. We start with trends and opportunities in applying machine learning in enterprise. We cover BigML's machine learning as a service platform, its applications and use. We end with Atakan's views on success characteristics of companies that are data-driven. I'm talking to Atakan Cetinsoy, VP Predictive Applications at BigML. BigML is one of the pioneers and leaders in machine learning as a service. It aims to make machine learning simple through a platform that supports users from data to model development. Atakan, welcome. Please introduce yourself and BigML.
Thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Atakan Cetinsoy. I'm the Vice President of Predictive Applications for BigML. As you said, BigML offers a machine learning as a service platform that packages state-of-the-art machine learning techniques, both supervised and unsupervised learning techniques that are basically accessible to businesses of all sizes from all industries for them to deploy smart applications that take advantage of their data. And the insights that are driven by that data that are highly actionable.
To start a bit broader, what are some of the trends and opportunities you see from BigML's perspective in applying machine learning in the enterprise?
Yeah, businesses are sitting on top of a lot of data. Of course, that data exhaust is growing due to digital transformation initiatives. Some businesses are farther ahead than others in terms of being able to integrate the right systems to pull together the relevant data sets for the knowledge workers to take advantage of to conduct their own experiments. Those can be covering many different use cases, from fraud detection, anomaly detection to understanding loan risk. So runs the whole gamut. So machine learning is a very foundational piece of technology, as some liken it to the relational databases when they first came out. It really touches every process in a business, and regardless of the size of the business. But the fact that we already are in a very data-rich environment is definitely something to an advantage of, especially an established business. So the missing piece has been the fact that in the past, using traditional methods and various open source libraries, piecing together a machine learning system, and being able to deploy it in production, being able to keep those models up to date. That whole iterative process has been sort of time consuming and costly for many businesses. Therefore, only the Googles and the Facebooks of the world have been able to, with their deep R&D budgets and engineering capabilities, have been able to build their own platforms and take advantage of machine learning to uncover those insights that are hidden in their data at scale in a consistent manner. But with providers like us, with BigML and other machine learning as a service companies that are born in the cloud, but that can also be deployed on-prem, the equation is now changing, and that's becoming much more cost effective. So the economics are now also favoring smaller and mid-sized businesses as well.
You hinted a bit to the problems that BigML solves. How does it work? What is the technology behind?
Yeah, BigML has a multi-layered architecture, as you would expect. We have a component called BigML Dashboard, which is browser-based. It's very lightweight and it's very visual, and it doesn't require the end user to have any machine learning background. Of course, if they do, that's a plus, but it's not a must-have to be able to leverage what we have to offer. And the models are white box, and it's interpretable through multiple visualizations depending on the method, be it deep nets, our version of deep learning, or other methods like unsupervised learning or anomaly detection. So that's sort of the UI layer. And we have self-learning tools such as online videos about each method and each technique. In the middle, we have our BigML REST API. So we are an API-first company. Every single method and technique that we bring to the platform is first implemented in the API, because we put a lot of emphasis to serving developers who will ultimately be the people deploying the smart applications. So in other words, we don't only want people the knowledge workers or the analysts or researchers to uncover insights. and leave it at that. But we want those insights to be deployed in production to really make a difference, right? Improve the KPIs and the metrics for the business. So that is absolutely crucial in terms of being able to support a full-featured, comprehensive API, which we hear from our customers is a big advantage and a reason why they've selected BigML in the first place. How full-featured our API is. And the third layer, of course, is our backend. And our philosophy there is that we would like to abstract away all the low infrastructure level complexity from the analytical end user. So our backend is auto deployable and auto scaling. So you basically at a high level give it a global amount of resources, be it memory or compute, and it can do all the orchestration and the smart allocation of these resources and the load balancing by itself. And through that layered structure, layered architecture, we've been able to serve to this date over 120,000 registered users on our multi-tenant version that's hosted in the cloud. But our revenue traction mainly stems from our private deployments for corporate customers, for larger and mid-sized businesses. That is either on-prem or in any cloud of their choice. And that's sort of the business model behind it.
What type of companies use BigML in what industries? And can you share some success stories?
Sure. Yeah. We have a lot of companies and a lot of people from different backgrounds start using BigML by signing up for the free version. But a lot of them, after they play with the tool a little bit, start approaching us. Some demand that we do like a formal demo session. And that has sort of been a very organic growth, path for us that way. So we've been able to basically put together a really impressive portfolio of customers over the years. One example is Rabobank from the Netherlands. They're using BigML for credit card fraud detection. And they're combining the BigML solution with their Risk Shield fraud detection solution that is more rule-based and fuzzy matching based. In fact, that has led us to do a partnership with Risk Shield. And under the name of Risk Shield ML, now they're offering a hybrid AI solution, as they like to refer to it, that combines their more traditional rule-based and fuzzy matching approach with the machine learning approach that we bring to the credit card fraud detection space. Another example is, Indorama Ventures, and that's a company that basically is in the chemicals industry. They use BigML for chemical process optimization, reducing waste in the input material and producing PETs. That's sort of material that goes into those plastic bottles, water bottles, for example. Another example is Sener, a Spanish company, construction company, who's using BigML to detect anomalies in oil temperatures in their tunnel boring machines to reduce downtime and to make sure that they hit their targets in terms of the project timelines. We will work with Seagate, the hardware manufacturer, in being able to identify fraudulent product warranty returns for their customers. That can run into the millions and usually discovered after the fact or not at all if you don't apply machine learning to it. And now we have really like small startups that build their entire value proposition on BigML, and NDA Lin is a good example of that. The founder had a law degree and had access to hundreds of thousands of different NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, over the course of his career, and was wondering whether he could build a topic model based on all of that to automatically judge and grade a new non-disclosure agreement, highlighting the clauses that may be to your disadvantage if you sign the as is, right? He's launched his company in Europe based on, such machine learning models. And, it's very encouraging for us to see, that type of adoption behavior that doesn't require you have a, large, group of data scientists or machine learning PhDs.
Very broad set of users and use cases. What benefits do the clients get? Why do they choose BigML over the alternatives?
Yes, a lot has to be said about ease of use. Like I said, we don't have you as an end user fill out forms and wait for some sales guy to call you to schedule a call and, that whole formal process. I think sort of that immediate access matters a lot. But at the end of the day, things like how comprehensive and how well structured your API is very important. if you're developing a smart application like that. And a lot of companies, especially in like healthcare and financial services, are also keen on having explainable, interpretable models due to their regulatory environment. As good as sort of a black box, complete black box auto ML approach is, it falls short in that regard. Because they really want to understand why, for example, a given loan application should be turned down, because they need to explain it to the end customer. We have taken that approach from day one in terms of sort of having a bias towards interpretability and bringing to the platform first and foremost the machine learning methods and techniques that are more interpretable in nature. And that has paid off handsomely in that regard. We do, however, also offer an auto ML capability. I must mention that in parentheses, but we don't solely rely on that. So at the end of the day, we think that the number of use cases out there are very many, like you said. Making it easy for developers and making the entire process much more interpretable and streamlined for even an analyst without any machine learning background results in a situation where businesses can experiment on new predictive use cases and ideas at scale in a much faster manner, and that's productivity, right? So there's only so much a 5-person data science team can tackle, but your subject matter experts, your white collar people, your knowledge workers have many more ideas they want to experiment with, but they're not able to in today's environment in many cases self-serve. And low-code/no-code tools like us kind of cater to that market.
You touched a bit on it, but just to zoom in, how do companies work with the BigML? How does an implementation look like?
Sure. So it also depends, I think, on the size of the company. Like I said, the smaller the company, usually they already just sort of roll up their sleeves and start developing something of like an experimental, at least, solution with our APIs, etc. Larger companies, we usually approach them with a more formal process. What we offer is like a 90-day quick start package. Which includes a 3-month license of a single server BigML private deployment, packaged together with should they choose to have it, some formal training sessions, and the third component is professional services. And basically we sit together with them. We determine what's the first predictive use case they'd like to implement. We do a quick data audit. See if, we have enough data and we have, signals in the data that can be taken advantage of. And at the end of the 9-day process, we basically deliver their first smart application and they can roll it out to production if they choose to do so. But the advantage of that approach is also that their subsequent smart applications can be built by them as a result of the training, as a result of them having witnessed the entire end-to-end process, starting with raw data to predictions that can be deployed in production.
Atakan, final question. What successful models do you see for companies embarking on the path to be more data focused, to apply machine learning in terms of where and how to start, emphasis on building data scientist teams versus not, perhaps data science center of excellence versus data science embedded in the business, how to implement, how to identify impactful cases?
Yeah, we're seeing many different approaches right now. I think as we're kind of figuring out the best practices as we go. I don't think any one company has figured it all out. With that said, I think it's a fairly, safe bet to be able to say that there's going to be a way for companies to, even without data scientists or large data science center of excellence type of teams, be able to deploy smart applications. So I think the market is moving more towards developers and catering to their needs and business line managers. And accessibility, I think, is a very important concept in that regard. Things like AutoML is definitely helping people without a lot of theoretical knowledge to be able to build stable models that can be very useful in the production settings as well. I think the machine learning theory and research will definitely continue improving over time, but the software side of things, figuring those out, making sure that the integration with enterprise systems is equally important. It's the other side of the coin that's sort of been lacking. APIs like BigML is helping in that regard. Having data, of course, is a must. A lot of businesses already have that. But having that sort of mindset where you'd like to sort of democratize the access to machine learning in your environment and let people who are intimately familiar with the processes be able to do experiments on their own is actually critical. So it's okay to have sort of a top-down AI approach, engaging with business consultants and etc. But augmenting that with that bottom-up approach, sort of grassroots. Okay, let people experiment and build new predictive use cases quickly in collaboration with developers who prefer APIs and well-developed tools like that.
Atakan, this was very informative. Thank you very much for the time.
You're very welcome, and hope to do this again with you. Thank you very much.